limiting. I mean, look at this. There's more invisible than there is visible. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
better friends with the invisible than I am with the visible, because the invisible is
I
giving me
agree.
everything that I need. It's giving me
Yeah.
everything I need,
Yep.
and that's where it's all coming from. So why am I
Yep.
gonna, curses to you for not giving me good ideas? No, curses to me for not allowing those ideas to flow through. Curses to
Yes.
me for putting a gate on it right away. Go, nope, you're not entering here because I want
Yeah.
it to be perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so funny. Like okay, so I went to Columbia College in Chicago, where I was
Uh-huh.
taught about ensemble. I was taught
Uh-huh.
about I was taught improv. I was taught yes and. I was taught
Yeah.
how to take what is there and building upon it, like the Scooby Doo
Yeah.
sandwich. You never have Shaggy and Scooby going, "No, Scoob, no more of that ham." You never have that. It's always like, yes, more. Yes, let's see how big we
Yeah.
can make this, and let's see how we can unhinge our jaws. We'll figure out a way to unhinge our jaws to eat this thing. It's
A
that
Scooby-Doo
kind of.
sandwich. That's a great analogy.
Thank you.
I love.
Thank you. And so with the ensemble spirit, it's about how do I make you better? How do I make you
Yeah.
better? How do I help
Yeah.
enhance what you're giving me right now? And
Hmm.
if you got everybody right there helping enhance what everybody's doing, as a byproduct, you're going to end up looking awesome anyway. Because, look, if your concern was, wanting to be the funny guy, the funniest guy on stage,
Yes.
it's not to be the egotistical maniac and go, all of you guys are idiots, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not the way to do it. If that's your mission, if your mission is to be the funny guy, well, then you have to do the whole the opposite effect of that. You have to
Hmm.
first give all of the power to everybody else. And if
Yeah.
everybody else is giving everybody else the power, everybody rises together. And it's a beautiful thing. I was so spoiled by that. So when I came
I
out to
love that.
California, I found a lot of these people, every man for himself type of thing. Us versus them. I'm better than you.
Yeah.
No, that's a stupid idea. This is what we're going with. And all of a sudden I was like, wah, 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 wah. I'm like, oh my God. Whoa, man.
When
Whoa,
you're
man.
struggling
Like,
with power instead of sharing power, that's where creativity disintegrates.
yes, yes, yes. I mean, the people who the audiences who have the best time in the audience are the ones
Hmm.
who are watching the play that's going on stage, where all the members could care less whether the audience was there or not, because they're having such a
Yeah.
good time with each other.
Yeah.
They're having a wonderful time with their company, and they're lifting each other up, and they're turning up the volume on the absurdity. I mean, it's like, oh, like when I watch I finally got through Better Call Saul. Well, new episodes are coming up. But when I see the ensemble work that's going on, people,
Yeah.
I get such a kick out of it, because you can see that they're really working off each
You
other.
can feel when people have good energy.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
acting, it's like, okay, act like these are your college buddies and you love them and you miss them. And like, I don't care how good an actor is, you feel the tension or you feel the positive energy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
when Tina Fey and Amy Poehler do anything together, you feel their energy, that they
Yeah.
genuinely care for each other, that they
Yeah.
genuinely have fun, that when they do their improv or their comedy, they're truly giving based on the principles of improv is let me give you this gift. Let me give you this gift. Let me
Yes.
give you this gift. Because that's how
Yes.
like movies get bad reviews. I think it all boils down to energy. The
It really is.
ensemble energy is what it boils down to.
Yes, and it's that idea of not, it's like that you could see that there's this mission that's lying beyond what's going on here in front of the camera, and what
Yeah.
that beyond is getting out of the way of themselves and allowing that spirit to come through and work through them.
Yeah.
And just being,
Yeah.
I'm just a character in this play set. You work through me.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 oh, ba, 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 ah, ba, ba, ba. You're
Yeah.
just becoming a character that's now doing this thing. You're not
Yeah.
trying to worry about, oh, is this going to win the Academy Award? You can
Yep.
tell when acting, like when I see, to me, bad acting is
Hmm.
you can see when people are self-aware when they're doing acting. You can see when they're self-aware when they're going, the audience is really going to like this doozy. Hold on, let me deliver this line. They're really going to like this one. You
Yes.
can see when they're self-aware.
And that delivery, because we like surprises. We
Yes.
like surprises. That's why some critics like get upset with like jump scares in horror films. But the thing is, the reason why, and they're like, why all the jump scares? Quit it with the jump scares. Is because they know that people love to be surprised.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
love
yeah,
to be
yeah,
surprised. That's why I think
yes,
comedy resonates with so many people, and really genuine comedy. Like, that's why Saturday Night Live has been on the air forever, is because, I mean, there's writers, and yes, they write, but when they improv and when they get those accidents, when they genuinely break because they're like, in their head, they're like, that is so funny. I can't not laugh. And I know I'm not supposed to laugh. And you see them break. And that's why it's so funny to you, is because we love that happy accident. We
yeah,
love
yeah,
that
yeah.
surprise of like, oh, that was funny. That's why
Oh yeah.
I agree with you. You can tell when somebody, instead of being organic and in their back of their head, that's why I like Steve Martin so much. It's because in the
Oh,
back of his
oh,
head, he knows I'm about to do something freaking hilarious, but I'm going to let it sneak up on you. If I
yeah,
act
yeah.
like, oh, here it comes, then it's gonna end up corny. But I love his comedy because he just is a smooth, like, he lets that energy flow really smooth, and that's why you love it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the best things is when we're able to harness that spirit of, because okay, what the best stories are the ones where you can't really even tell because it's one of those where you had to be there stories. Those are the
Yeah,
best stories because you
yeah,
actually have to be there in that circumstance, and knowing what you know and seeing what you see and knowing what the environment is like at that time, and this person says this thing, and you see the reactions of that lady over there, and you see the reactions of the little kid over here, and but you have to be there to be able to see that. But when you go
yes.
to tell that story to someone, it's like, how do you explain that magical moment where that surprise just sneaked up on you? You can't.
Mhm.
You have to be in that moment, you know?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's why it's so fun when you're able to implement that into the art that you're doing, and you let it take you where you want to take you.
Mhm.
So many folks have this governor, this sort of like cars do. Like a car, might say that it'll go up to 200 miles an hour, but
Yeah.
there's a governor on there that only lets you go maybe 120, or
Yeah.
something like that. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it kicks it back down. So we
Yeah.
can't put that governor on ourselves when it comes time for art, artistic expression. There's so many people out there going, "Oh, I can never draw. I just doodle." Well, you know what, folks? That is the truest form of art that ever existed because you're not
Yes.
thinking.
Yes. That's right. That's right. I love that. That's where some of our best, like, newspaper comic strips have come from. Are people that just like were doodling ideas and that resonate so much with people when you're not trying and you just do it.
Yes.
Not trying,
Yeah.
just do it. It's almost like we're all a hose, and it's like the energy, the creative energy that flows through us, whether you just let that hose go or you put your thumb on it, that's going to determine your success. Is how much did you just let the energy trust, and a lot of that has to do with trust, especially when
Mm-hmm.
you're acting and you're working with people. Like, oh my god, I had so much fun with you guys on set. Okay, so for the viewers that don't know, so we both were, he was the actor, you were
Alex.
Reggie and Alex. That's right.
Yeah.
We played twins. Dun dun
That's
dun. In this horror movie, and I got to intern. I worked on the art in the art department. And I worked in continuity. And as an intern, like, I got to know like the actors and stuff. And Curt was one of the main actors. You guys have to see Bloody Bobby. Oh my god, it's so good. And Black Pumpkin is really good. It's a
Thank
really
you.
good movie. Yeah, I loved it. It was I'm uh I do get scared at horror. So when Ryan was like, "Do you want to work on this film?" and I was like, "Yes, I'm so scared." It was so much fun, but like, it's funny to see the end product because I was like, like, I was scared. Like, there's scary parts in it. Like, I don't do well with horror, but I make myself do it because, again, it's surprising. But when you're acting, what I like about you is you make your scenes feel so natural, and I can tell that you're flowing with the energy.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. That means a
yeah,
lot to me. That means a
yeah,
lot to me.
yeah.
That
I
means a
love
lot to
that.
me. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And I loved you in both of them, but definitely the second one because I like that we called you Jesus.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone on set was calling me Jesus.
Poor
It was
guy
great.
couldn't shave his beard and cut his hair, and then he was like, "Yay, the film is over. I'm gonna cut my hair." And we couldn't wait for you to shave your beard, and
Oh
then you
yeah.
were like, "I have another role, and I have to keep my hair long."
That's
And now
right.
here we
That's right.
are,
Yeah.
almost two
Oh
years
yeah.
later, and you haven't been able to cut your hair.
No. Oh my gosh. Ryan's like, "Don't you dare cut that hair." And I'm like, the whole time, even before Black Pumpkin, I'm like, Ryan, they make like really good beard, like
Yeah,
fake
get with
beards,
it, man.
And yeah, and they got like really good wigs these days, dude. Like I could just, he's
Yeah.
like, no, you gotta grow it. I'm like, it's never been this way. And it was just so funny because that was one of those things where it's like, that was another sort of test. Like, had I been really worried about my appearance or what other people were thinking,
Yeah.
I would have it would have been this hesitant thing in the back of my brain.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, people yell Jesus to me as they're driving down the street, I guess better that than Charles Manson, or even if they call me Charles Manson. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Either way, it's like, you just have to own it. It's like, okay,
You
you know
gotta
what?
own it, man.
This is part of the process. This is what
Yeah.
we're doing, and here's how it's happening.
Yep.
And
You gotta own it.
so actually, to get back to Black Pumpkin, they actually finally, after all this time, we were able to. I mean, there was it's so crazy. So for the folks at home who want to make movies and stuff, after you shoot the movie, that's not the end. Okay, we all want to go home and celebrate and go, okay, we did a great job, and yes, you can celebrate. You also have to allow yourself to realize that there's a lot of technical stuff after that. There's obviously the editing. There's all the sound design, all those little crinkle crankles of walking walking through the woods, the sounds of the birds in the background, the sounds of, the sound of the door. I mean, there are all these little tiny things that you can never even anticipate. So then there's color correction. Then there's then you look for a distributor. Then the distributor goes, oh yeah, these are the deliverables that we expect from you. We need you to do closed captioning, and you go, closed captioning, what the heck? What's the first thing with that? Then you have to have this frame rate. What frame rate? What the heck? How do I? And then you got to, so there are all of these other little elements, So finally, after all this time, we finally got together all the release forms. Okay, folks, before you start your movie, you got to get these release forms ready for musicians, particularly, because you don't want to be chasing these people around. There might be someone who promised you a song, 5 years ago, like with Bloody Bobby. We shot that. There are people, oh yeah, sure, use my song in the movie. Well, little did we realize that. Plus, okay, well, I'll say this. I'll continue my thought. Little did we realize that it would take a large amount of time to get this together, and then we'd have to go back 5 years later to these people and go, oh, by the way, remember that you promised us this song? Here now is this release form. You said that you do this for credits and stuff. So then you got to wait for these people who might be too lazy to just print it out and then sign it and then scan it back to you. So there's a lot that goes on with this stuff.
There's so much paperwork to film.
There's a lot of paperwork. So finally, we've finally got our deliverables down. We've got it off to the distributor, they're called Uncorked Entertainment, and and then they put it through a quality control thing. So then they want to make sure that all the light aspects fit their aspects, all the dark aspects fit their aspects, and you got to fit within a certain spectrum of whatever that means, whatever that means to them.
Oh my God.
There's so many little tiny little things. So, and this is in no way for me to tell you folks, to deter you from creating. No way. I'm just letting you know.
Just be educated. Be educated.
Yeah, I'm
it's not just the camera and actors and yay, let's upload it. There's a lot that has to go on. That's why everybody has their place. Everyone's got their job, and everybody that works on the film is very important.
Absolutely. And you know what? And you don't realize how many jobs are missing until you're there in the midst of it and you're doing those jobs yourself. Like when I was working on Bloody Bobby, I didn't realize I would be, I did craft service. I helped out with hanging up the lights. I helped out with, with some of the
I
acting.
remember you'd do scenes and then you'd come paint with us.
Yeah.
And we're like, go take a nap. Go sleep. You have like lines to do in a little bit, and you're like, where are the screws? Let me help you make this kitchen in the garage that we're working on. Like, we're like, it was like all hands in the pot. I remember some of the actors, like their dads, like some of the kid actors. I remember, what's the young man's name? I forgot his name, but his dad was so great, and he helped us with building. Like it's an all hands on deck kind of thing.
Oh my God. It was astounding to see everybody come together. And that's the charm of making an independent film outside of the studio Hollywood thing. I mean,
Hmm.
which that stuff can definitely get expensive, because then you got all these unions involved, and you got all these, boy, that can get crazy.
Hmm.
So what I want to say to those who think that it's essential to move to Hollywood in order to make your movie, that it's
Yeah.
essential to have all this crazy equipment because you hear someone else out there tell you that it's the case. No, you got to look what we're doing right here. This is a
Yeah.
cell phone. Most of you have this in your pockets right now. Most of
Yep.
your cell phones have a camera. If it's made past 1980 or whatever.
Yeah.
Most of your phones have a camera on it, can record. You can
Hmm.
download apps that enable you
Films
to
have been
to
done completely
edit.
on iPhones.
Yes,
Yeah.
Steve Soderbergh is shooting stuff on his iPhone, which then
Yeah.
led me to research the lenses. What are the lenses that he's using? Well, there are companies out there. There's a company called Moondog Labs. There's a company called Moment. Well, I ended up finding them, and I use some of those lenses myself. It's like,
Hmm.
put the power into your hands. Don't
Yeah.
don't don't rather than sitting there and coming up with excuses as to why you're not making something.
Hmm.
Is ridiculous, because we already have everything that we need right now. With Kapow Intergalactic Film Festival, the film
Oh,
festival
which
that
I love.
I organize, there are people who enter their films that they shot on their cameras, and it looks great up there on screen.
And I'm
I don't
gonna
know
link
if
them below. I'm gonna link them
oh
below.
good, oh good,
Yeah, if you
thank you,
guys are
thank you.
wondering, because I have my content, my show is usually volunteerism, but obviously we're expanding. The good thing that's coming out of this pandemic is it's pushing people to creativity. But I had my shows on volunteerism, and then I have this break, and I have all these episodes that are interviews from the red carpet, and it's like, what is she doing? Those are from the Kapow Intergalactic Film Festival. The interviews that I
Awesome.
did, the red carpet interviews are on
You
there.
did such a
I got
great
to
job. We
interview
are so
filmmakers,
fortunate.
and Curt, you were there. You're part of the team that has put that film festival below. You guys, I'm going to link that below. Check it out when life gets up and running. And it's usually in the fall, yeah?
Well,
Yeah,
you know
we
what?
did
We
this
so the
in
good news is, before the pandemic
September.
came, we
Yeah,
we moved it to January 2021. So
nice.
it's up in January
Oh,
2021. So
nice.
we're still getting submissions. We're still getting submissions on Film
It's
Freeway.
an
You know,
amazing film festival, you guys. Please submit your work. Chapman University had a huge block. I was blown away. There was so many unique stories, and it wasn't just horror. It wasn't just sci-fi. Like there, I cried. There were so many touching stories,
oh my God,
and it
yeah.
was so organized. You guys did a phenomenal job of organizing that
Thank
film
you.
festival. You really
Thank
did.
you.
Yeah.
It's it's there are a lot of little pieces that got to fit into place, and it's quite, it can drive you mad at times, and
Yeah.
uh, but it's worth it to meet all these awesome filmmakers from all over the world. Some of them
Hmm.
world premiered their movies there. A lot of these filmmakers, here's one filmmaker over here who's going, oh, you know what? I've always wanted to do voiceover for cartoons, and here are these people over here who had to do the directors who had to do their own voices for their cartoons because
Yeah.
they didn't have
You
actors. And they're like,
network like crazy.
you do voices, and they're like, you do cartoons. All right,
Yeah.
let's trade information, and that
Yep.
is so rewarding for me to see these people
Yeah.
becoming future collaborators.
I
I
love
love
it.
that.
I
It's like
love
this.
it.
To me, I'm trying to, my intention is to make sort of a utopian society for that 7 days, where people don't they're not living by the mentally by the Hollywood standards. They're not living
Yeah.
mentally. They're living by the idea of going, oh wow, there's another person who made their own film. Oh, there's another person who did what they could with what they had. Oh, there's
Yeah.
another person who made their movie for $10 because they spent $10 on McDonald's or whatever that day for their people. And it's like, it's that to me is so thrilling, because especially now during this pandemic, we're seeing just exactly how much can get done without huge budgets, aren't we? We're seeing some of
Yes.
these celebrities doing stuff from their own homes. I saw Neil
Yeah.
Diamond, playing in front of his fireplace on his guitar.
Yep.
He didn't have to have special equipment. He didn't have to have all these lights. He didn't have to have
Nope.
an audience. It was
And
like,
and it's getting back to those basics of why you love somebody. And I think that's one of the great things coming out of this. And it's a funny thing is this was a question I was going to say for the end is what good do we hope will come out of this? But I'll address it now. one of the things I love is people are getting back to, like, Melissa Etheridge did a concert, or I think she was talking about doing a concert, but just seeing her like in her living room, and I immediately was like, God, I love her. God, I love her music. Yeah, I'll watch her do this from like the area between her kitchen and her living room, like by a window in her house. Like, and I think we're reminded, I think concert promoters need to be reminded, producers need to be reminded that sometimes your artist doesn't need freaking fireworks. Give them a
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
guitar and
mm-hmm,
let them
mm-hmm,
do what they do. It's like
mm-hmm.
Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. They freaking crashed Facebook the other day doing
I
a
heard about
concert from
that.
their home, and just her voice and his voice. And I was like, there's no sound engineering. Like, listen to their melody, listen to them harmonize with one another. Like, yeah, I'll take you in your living room. I don't need the projection and the lights and the, just give me you. Just give me you. Just
Oh my
plain and
gosh.
simple.
Yes, and so many times we hear from people going, "Well, I'm not going to do that until I'm paid the big bucks. So I'm not going to do that
Yeah.
unless this, and it's like, okay, you know what? What this is leveling it all out, where it's like, okay, do you actually love the art that you claim you do?
Yes.
It's like it's really like we're really seeing who are the true artists. We're
Yeah.
really seeing people coming out with their creativity. More people are drawing more than ever before. More people now are playing their instruments than ever before.